All right, everybody, welcome to this week's episode of It's Not a Phase. We accidentally took some time off here, so I'm sure everybody missed us. We got DJ Raev, say hey, from Asylum, and then we have the Goth about town. That would be Raven in this corner over here. Now let me see something though. View, multi-speaker. There we go. Now we're all up on the screen. That's way better. All right. I went to Halloweekends last weekend, you guys. What did you guys do? It's been a while, so you better have some shit. You better have notes taken, stuff stacked up. I cleaned my office. I have like a real adult kind of. Thank you.
That's great. Yeah.
Still weird, still creepy. I got all sorts of drawer sets and odd stuff on the shelves and like a weird plant over here, but you know.
All right. It looks good.
Coming along.
Are you gonna talk about your time over there at the point?
Yeah, I guess. I figured I'd give you. I just ran right into that, and I didn't give anybody else a chance to have anything. So I was nice, and I pulled back for a second.
I know it's all about you.
Checked on you guys. I was like, "Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to be having a conversation with other people, not just me."
Respectable.
So
lovely.
If you guys don't have anything interesting, we went to Halloweekends in my new Mini Cooper convertible, and it was all four of us in my Mini Cooper. So it felt like yeah. Nice. I don't even know how I fit into it by myself with the top up. But yeah, so kid in the back, buddy Lauren in the back, and then Doug in the front, and me in the front in the rain. And it basically felt like we already took disaster transport all the way to Cedar Point.
Oh, good reference to a time gone by. That was a great ride.
That was the best, especially because yeah.
Oh, it's been gone for a long time.
I know. Yeah. That was one of my favorites. I'll never know if they actually made it to Alaska or not, but
I don't think anyone will know
or why
made it or not.
Or why. It was the 90s. I was like,
wild ride.
That whole thing was a plot hole, but it was fine. It was like, who cares? Fuck it. You're here for the roller coaster, especially because it was a trackless coaster. It was originally
it was like a bobsled.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a bobsled, like you're literally in like a tube, like a half tube, and you're just kind of going down on wheels. Like
I think it was called like Avalanche Run back in the day.
Yep, you are correct. That's what it was called. And eventually they converted it to a dark ride in the 80s because that was in style. But then Cedar Point people weren't really into dark rides, so that was the last remaining one. Anyway, we weren't here to talk about the history of Cedar Point. My kid was scared shitless, but she was absolutely brave. I didn't think she was going to go into any of the haunted houses. But she did. She went into Mr. Midnight, which she originally thought wasn't going to be scary. It's kind of like a Babadook knockoff. You guys have ever seen the Babadook or Babadook? I can never know if I'm saying it right.
It's all right. It's an all right movie.
It's.
I thought it was good.
It's good.
It definitely gave me the creeps for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely gave me the creeps. I wasn't.
And then the whole twist.
Yeah.
I was like,
it was good. It was good.
Yeah, and I didn't necessarily see it coming. Like I did, but I didn't. But yeah, she's like, oh, it's just going to be goth people jumping out at me. That's not scary. And she went in it with just dad. Like I wasn't even there. And she was apparently very shook. And then bravely enough went into the estate after. Have you guys ever been like Halloweekends? Like when they do?
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've been to Halloweekends. I went to Cedar Point 2 or 3 times this year. I have like a gold pass and stuff. Did not go to. I like to go on off days when the lines are short, so I can get more.
You have a gold pass?
I'm a ride guy. I love coasters.
Why didn't I know this about you?
I don't know. Maybe because it never came up. But
I feel ripped off. I feel like kind of like you've been lying to me this whole time. Like that's just.
I have. Look, it never came up in conversation.
It's my favorite place on earth.
Yeah, I love the Millennium Force. That's great. The Mavericks.
Oh, I finally got on Maverick this year. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I have my ADHD.
You're only 30 years late.
How long did you have to wait to get on the ride? My question.
It was a long time because it was raining and the ride kept shutting down.
Yep. Okay.
But overall,
was it like over an hour, 2 hours?
It was about an hour. We went on a Sunday.
Not bad, but to ride in the rain, that sucks.
Yeah.
It
was like getting sawed in the face.
Oh yeah. I prefer not to ride in the rain, hard stop. But yeah, Maverick, great. Actually, it ties into this entire conversation. I actually went on the Goth Takeover Day. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
Yeah, ghastly, the one where I forgot about it, remember? And then you were sending me texts and I was all sad the whole time.
Oh yeah,
That's the good
that day,
times.
yeah. So I was
How
there
was
like,
that?
all dressed up, and there was a bunch of other goths like running around the park, and we'd be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like I didn't recognize anybody, but it was always good to know people who you knew they were there for that thing.
I'm
So
happy
it
for
was,
you.
that was, yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, I sent you like a picture from like every coaster Echo and I went on that day, and that was like the best day that I probably had all summer long at the park, because it was like an off day and the like weather was good enough, and it wasn't packed, and it's not like I had like fast passes or anything, but I got the most rides in that day, because there was other days I'd show up and we'd go to like try to get as many rides as we could, and we waited forever, and we got like 4 rides in on
Yeah.
different things, and it's just kind of upsetting. But
That happened when I went a couple of years ago after COVID. I swear we ended up going on 3 rides all day because the lines were
and
that long.
it's like we were like there for like 8 hours, and you did like nothing, and you just feel like, why did I even bother?
This time we went on a Sunday, and they didn't have a lot of the outdoor stuff open for Halloweekends, but the haunted houses were really on par. I've been through Mr. Midnight. I didn't get to go through it this time because they decided to jump the gun and go through that bravely without me. I was really surprised when they sent me the text. They're like, "Yeah, we're going through." I'm like, "Just you two?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, the whole time I'm in line for another one, just worrying. I'm like, I'm playing the whole scenario out in my head. Like she's just in there getting murdered in her mind, and it was apparently that bad. So maybe it was good that I wasn't there. But then we went through the estates, like old fashioned haunted house. I did Club Orpheus this time, which was basically that scene from Queen of the Damned where they're all like sweaty and dancing in the club. And that was like the haunted house, was the vampire one.
Good time to me.
And then a werewolf,
I don't know what
werewolf jumped out at the end. That was pretty much the haunted house.
It will happen sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes big hairy dudes just accost you.
So overall, great time. Now, how was your guys's? I gave you maybe about 5 minutes there to think about how your week has been.
My share will be going off in our like group shares, but I went to a show. I saw KMFDM. I'll be talking about that later. So yes, that's what my review will be about that show, because that's like the one thing I want to highlight. So
fuck my story. How many times have you seen KMFDM?
This is the one time I've only seen them. It's their 40th anniversary tour.
That's wild to me.
I don't want to really go into it too much, because I feel like I'm giving away my review. So
you're not, because everybody else has seen them at least 4 or 5 times, but
I feel like there was a lot.
We'll be excited for you when it's your turn to talk about your first KMFDM concert. We will be very enthusiastic. And actually, I mean, every time I've seen them, I've only
there you go.
Yeah, by the 25th year, I'd seen them 4 or 5 times.
I've only seen them 2 or 3, to be fair. So I'm a little short.
I'm at like 7 or 8 times now.
I've only seen Ministry once, and it was for like 5 minutes.
4 times on Ministry.
It's weird. Yeah, I mean, weird for me, not for you. Everybody else has seen them 4 times as well. But yeah, I can't wait to hear about that, because they're decent live. It depends on what set list they go with. So that's kind of a key with them. John, how about Raev? How about you, buddy?
Yeah, over here in Canuckastania, October, we're just hired by anybody and everybody all month long. So it's just been a month full of events for us here. So there's a giant zombie walk that Windsor's been doing for years. It took a break and it came back downtown. So they did the zombie walk last weekend. And the after party was a adult block party where they shut off a section of downtown Windsor, and they had the goth DJs inside, bar live bands outside, and just shut it all down and party into the wee hours of the morning.
Nice.
So that was my weekend.
That sounds amazing.
Well, you guys did have a recent asylum, right? I saw some pictures, a lot of costumes and stuff like that. Looked pretty cool.
Oh.
And the first Saturday in October, we did our Halloween edition, and it was absolutely insane. Like it actually scared me a little bit because eventually we're going to be at a point where it's too cold to hang out outside, and I don't know what I'm going to do with everybody. Because I got whisper from our door guy that we were at capacity inside, so I started counting up the outside, and I when we hit 70, I stopped counting. It's like
Outside?
70 outside, capacity inside.
Dang. Oh
I'm like,
man, you guys are outgrowing your venue already. Like
Yeah.
for real.
we've been doing it 5 years there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you guys got a good following. So
What's-
and you throw a good event. So
What's the real catch? What are you offering there, John?
what
What is going on in Asylum Windsor?
We've been very crafty on how we've built it from day one. Now,
No, you're not going to give me the CEO's speech. This isn't the marketing department. What's the
we
goods?
put a lot of energy into trying to help build community. So if someone comes in and we don't recognize them, people that are members of the team go up to them. We introduce ourselves to them. We take them around, introduce them to other people, and we make sure that everyone that leaves there, to the best of our ability, we can't help but jerk off. But we try to make sure everyone leaves with like 5 new friends, and that's really our goal: is to have a place where people just come and hang out and party with their friends, and we just provide a killer ass soundtrack to it.
Well, there you
So
go.
that's for helping do that, like we have a lot of members of the drag community that come out, and it started with us going to drag shows and making friends with everyone there. There's other events that happen. We help promote those other events. We go support those other events. And in turn, they come support us. So we've really been putting a lot of work in fostering one giant community. So we have people from Toronto that come down, people from London, Ontario coming down. There's people who come from Detroit that I don't see at the Detroit venues at all.
Yeah.
And it's because we put a lot of energy into trying to develop the community aspect of what we do. We can listen to the music at home all day long.
Mm-hmm.
But what keeps you coming out a second time?
It's the people.
It ain't dive bar drinks.
I mean, for me, it is
Well, yeah, I was gonna say for some people, but
music I love and people I like. So and dive bar drinks.
Yeah, so we all try to be very attentive to, hey, we don't know that person. Who is that? Well, so we'll go say, hey, I don't recognize you. Where are you in from? And just start bullshitting with them and ask people, what do you like? Well, what brought you here? How do you know about us? And they say something that's like, they're into XYZ. We'll introduce them to a handful of other people who are also into that kind of stuff. And the entire room, they're cool with it. Everyone's thrilled with it. So even the people who never miss one, they're quick to jump in and have conversations and, just fuck around with people they don't know. It's a very friendly environment. And that's really the secret to the growth. I'm not doing anything special. It's just a very friendly, welcoming group of people.
It's like
And it's hard to
BGN,
lose.
but real life.
it sounds like Canadian.
Canadians. Fucking Skid Central over there, bud. Guys are just out in the parking lot doing rips. That's your secret. That's
spare parts, but
yeah, spare parts.
You know the most Canadian thing about this, though?
That was it. The letter County
from
references were it.
Yeah.
what was that?
On the corner from us is a late night poutineery, so you can go get like poutine at like 4 a.m. So
Okay.
like, people will wander off from the bar and then come back, 10 minutes later with this big old thing of poutine and just go wandering by. It's like, God damn, I love this place.
Oh
yeah.
man. Now I'm like, when's the next time I can take a Saturday off so I can get some poutine and hang out with a bunch of goths in Canada? Like I need to make that happen.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
You'll fill out the form eventually.
I will eventually fill the form out, and I will be there. Like a
I have a
fan of the night.
passport. I'm good. Like,
You have a
I don't need to
passport?
fill no forms.
Do you
Yeah,
want to go? Do you want to go with me when I go?
I mean, yeah, I know Jay gets like a group together every couple Saturdays and stuff. So we can make it happen.
I will
And,
pick you up in the Mini Cooper, and we will
Ooh.
pop the top.
Okay.
Because the Duke of Shore, when he pops his top, the fucking lady's panties drop. Trust me, toss straight in your dusty.
Happening right now.
We can take my car to Asylum with the
Okay.
convertible down because I'm having a midlife crisis. I love my car. Okay.
Not in winter though. We're not doing that in winter.
DJ. I live midlife crisis.
His whole life is just one long midlife.
I've been persistently in one since I've been 7.
Oh,
And then, yeah, we'll just go there, but we'll just go there one day. So
all right, we'll make it happen.
You'll
We'll
see
put that on the
Elmo
books.
handshake deal.
Yeah, virtual handshake deal. There
Virtual
you go.
handshake.
Right there. Yeah.
By the way, where's the last one on officially today? Who's the late motherfucker today?
Oh, that was me. God damn it.
Again.
yeah.
I mean, she was working on technical stuff, and
No, I was
like,
I was just chilling in my basement for a minute.
okay, now I gave you an out. I gave you an honest out, but I guess yeah.
So something embarrassing. Pick a category though. Music. I mean, we did that.
Yeah, we did music, but let's try not to have too much.
Raev, you've been there for like at least 25 to 27% of the incidences that I could list. I mean, some of them happened at ManFast. Did I ever tell you the story about how at City Club? Because this is a segue into what's going to happen later. At City Club one time, there was a girl that felt really sad for me that they made me clean up my own barf in the bathroom. So she gave me $100. And then I bought a Crave case on the way home, and then I fucking threw that up too. But that was the most amazing fucking. That was when the City Club fucking fairies were just listening to me, and they knew what I needed, and it was $100, I guess. She's like, I can't believe they'd humiliate you, and I'm thinking, like, bitch, like I humiliate me here every week, and they're done with it. But like, I took the hundo. I was poor. I took the hundo. I'm like, are you sure?
I've seen you puke in your backyard and.
There's very few things I haven't thrown up in. It's a limited selection. So there we go. That's my story. And on the way into the bathroom too, fucking, because I was talking to Storm Knight at the time. It was my first time ever meeting him. I threw up on his shoulder because I was trying to be a champ and pretend like I didn't need to throw up, but I did. And I was racing in the bathroom. I'm like, and there's this girl. It was like Austin Powers, like the steamroller scene where I'm like, get out of the way. I'm like, and I'm like,
if someone's coming into the bathroom like this,
yeah,
you know, like
it was 45 seconds of me just holding it and almost choking, and I
puked in a lot of places there, and I never had to clean it up. Who did you piss off to have to do that?
Bishop. Do you know how mad you have to make Bishop for him to make you clean up your own? Jesus.
You probably asked for it.
Dude, I threw up on the girls. I threw up on the girls' demonias. Like I didn't sit there and give her a 45-second fucking warning. And then she's like, you need to pay for those. I'm like, I don't have money. But then I got $100 later. I didn't tell her about that. Anyway, if you're that girl and you're listening, I'm sorry about your shoes.
No, you're not.
This is what I get for being late, you guys.
I'll buy you a Crave case later.
Buy your Crave case on the way home from City Club next time. We'll split it.
Didn't I send you guys a picture from like the outside of like the Leland like a couple weeks ago? Yeah. It was like the sun was setting behind it. Kind of looked majestic and scary all at the same time.
Beautiful and unnerving.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, hold all that off for later. We're gonna get right into shares so that we can go into the whole Gab game, whatever, at the end. And I heard that there's a big boy here who had his first KMFDM concert. Let's hear about it. Where were they even playing at? The Majestic?
St. Andrews.
Oh, okay. I haven't been there.
Yeah, they were playing at St. Andrews, and
wasn't it was closed because the floor? Is it open again?
No, they got it. They fixed it.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah. Although, like some of the songs that were like very like bassy and like people wanted to like jump around and dance and there was like a mosh pit and shit. Like you could feel the floor, like you could feel it, like that fresh wood. I don't know. It felt a little sketch to me. I was just like, oh, buddy, is this gonna be it? Are we gonna be in the shelter after this? Or what? Anyway, so first off, band opening for them.
No. Hold on, Raev. Did you just soundboard something?
No, I didn't. No, that was
Generally just me.
Raev making some kind of interjecting sound thing.
All right, go on, continue.
No, that was
You're gonna
just
have to
me.
watch it in post.
Fine,
Watch it
that's
in
fine.
post.
It was
Maybe
great.
it came out better. I don't know.
It was great.
The band Morlocks, not the Morlocks, but Morlocks, just Morlocks, opened for them. They're associated. They're a band that's based in like Gothenburg, Sweden. They do kind of like industrial rock, but it's like kind of mixed with a little bit of like classical, like neoclassical style, a little neoclassical singing and backtracks and stuff like that.
Okay.
They were interesting. Their sound was pretty good. They had the audience going after a couple songs and whatnot. They were really energetic. Definitely like kind of in your face. And one of the guys reminded me of like a Lemmy Kilmister, like kind of like a younger version of him, but like Swedish. And they had
The Swedish Lemmy.
a Swedish Lemmy. Yeah. And then I met them out. I met the lead singer and their lead guitarist out back when they were out getting some fresh air after their set. And so it was really kind of cool to talk to them after the show. And they actually mentioned this band, Sabaton, because they're also from Sweden. But basically how they're kind of anti-war and like they're like a band like Sabaton's kind of glorifying war in a way. So I thought that was interesting. Favorite song, Dicks and Tanks. They have it on YouTube. Plus it's catchy because repetitive getting to say Dicks and Tanks. It's fun. Then KMFDM played their set. Pretty good. Audio was not nearly where it needed to be. Sound guys can kind of ruin a show, to be fair. There were people who were like literally yelling during the set, like turn it up. And I don't think anything ever changed audio wise. So it was kind of hard to hear everything. I wanted like a more of like a studio sounding, like what it sounds like, but you never really get that. There are a few bands that can really reproduce their sounds live as they do in studio. It's kind of upsetting a little bit. I guess I was let down a little bit by their set. They played like some good tracks. They played Juke Joint, Jezebel, Hyena. They played a couple other decent tracks that I godlike. But there was a bunch of stuff in the middle that I was just like, I didn't really appreciate that much. I don't want to be that guy that says just play the fucking hits, but there's a part of me that's just like just play the old shit, man. They brought their Sasha and Lucia brought their daughter up to do singing on a track, which was kind of interesting. Because she's young and she's like, I guess she wants to have a budding like music career. And she got up there and sang on stage, but she was you could tell like she hadn't done it very much, like especially on like this kind of stage. And so she just kind of she got up there and like sang the part, but she wasn't very loose and she seemed very stiff and obviously have probably a lot of nerves. I'm not saying I'd be a better than
she'd be a teenager. It's hard to to try and be rock star as a teenager.
Yeah. But I feel like it was almost kind of like a familial pressure, like obviously she agreed to it, but I don't know if she was totally, I don't know, maybe she's just like, she's got the jitters, she's just kind of finding her way about. So one thing that I thought might happen, and it definitely did, is that I definitely had a crush that I like thought would definitely come to fruition with Lucia, because I was like, who's this like interesting voiced person that is on all the tracks and has this kind of like Bikini Kill kind of like punk rocker kind of thing vibe going on. And I was like, when I saw her on stage, she just kind of commanded things where like Sasha really kind of was like a little more subtle and back. Um,
Well, yeah,
So, yeah.
everybody's mad at him.
yeah.
Sorry.
I mean,
somebody had to bring it up.
yeah, things happened.
Yes, things that
You
occurred.
know,
Anyway.
I don't want to get into the politics of all of it.
Yeah,
but,
we make jokes.
It is what it is. I gotta say that I enjoyed myself, but I kind of had I guess I had my expectations a little higher than.
I'm sorry.
maybe.
I saw them first time they opened. Actually, Combo Christ opened for them, and Combo Christ was actually better than they were, which was kind of wild. But KMFDM was still great. Yeah, everybody was at that.
I was at that show.
Yeah, everybody was at that show.
That was like that's a good show.
That was like the
Combi Christ and
that-
KMFDM. That's sick. That's a good combo. Right?
That would have been like 2000 and what, John? Like 5, 6 ish. No, more than that. It's like 2004 maybe, or 5 maybe. I don't fucking. I'm just.
Is that was Angel Spit also on that one?
No, I don't think so.
Because I really Angel Spit opened for KMFDM at one point.
They did.
I remember.
That was a different one. But yeah, you were at the Comic Christ one because everybody, that was like the pig face of shows. Everybody was there. Everybody was in it. Yeah. Yeah. You make that reference 900 times. Well, that sounds like an amazing, underwhelming experience that you had at your KMFDM show.
But that's the thing. I just needed, I feel like I needed that. I needed to check that box. I needed to be there. I went there. It was a decent show. I had a good time. I ran into some friends that I hadn't seen in a minute, and it was all right. I had a good time. I'm not like I'm slightly let down, but you can't always get what you want. Things are just not going to always go your way. You just kind of have to accept things as they are. Sure, I'd love to go back in time and see them, as the full band with NS and everything. But it is what it is.
Cena and us with a pig face just before COVID, and like hearing that, that was a fucking great show.
That was a good show. Yeah,
I wasn't there.
They played Godlike. I was like, oh my god, they're playing it! Oh my god,
they're fucking doing
it. And they fucking killed it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Don't you love when a band does a song that they don't normally do, and you're like, oh, in the audience, like, yeah. It sounds like you guys had that. I wish I could have been there.
Though, Raven, you did touch on one of my pet peeves as a DJ, something I'm always like just bristling to vent about, is your comment of, just play the hits. Or, not like in the middling stuff of the show. And that's one of the things I really struggle the most with. Especially, I've been working in clubs on and off since the, late 90s. Is everyone wants to hear the same 30 songs over and over. So you play the same 30 songs over and over. Everyone's bored, but no one wants to hear the new stuff. Some cities are a lot worse for that than others, where it's like I can play just killer shit. That, brand new killer stuff that checks all the boxes, and people just stand there and stare at me. Mm-hmm. But play something 35 years old that they've heard 1,000,002 times, and the place goes wild. And it's so frustrating because holy fuck, there's so much cool music out there. We don't have to dance to Dead Stars anymore. We have progressed beyond that.
Can you play Military Fashion Show for me?
I want to hear Chrome.
I want to hear Chrome. No. Why you got to do
everyone goes into places would go wild. Still, it's like, oh my god, how are you? Like, I am so tired of those songs. So, but I do my best to try and get new music on the dance floors. I make it a point every single night to play a song I have never played before. I've never had 2 nights sound identical. And I've got a little bit of a technique to it. I'll do like just classic banger, pack the dance floor, get everyone wound up, and then sneak something brand new in, knowing I'm going to lose half of them, but at least the other half will have a good time. But it's like, God, there's got to be another way to get music into people's ears, but I don't think people actually want it.
No. But you're about to force it on them. Do you have a share for this week?
I don't have a share for this week, actually, because I wanted to piss and moan about this.
Okay.
Oh,
Fine.
sure.
I actually wanted to piss him off about this, and also to throw out an idea I had. Because and this actually comes from Rhonda. I was texting with Rhonda. Oh God, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I'm just a real slacker at responding to her
Uh-huh.
because she Raven knows who I'm talking about there.
And I think I know who you're talking about. Maybe no, never mind. Her name's Wendy, I think.
But, she asked me, and if I could recommend any good new music. And I'm like, well, fuck yeah, absolutely, I can. I have, like, how much do you want? Like, I can send you an email full of it. And she asked about a Spotify playlist, which I haven't actually never done Spotify.
Oh,
But
God.
as a supplemental piece of entertainment to associate with the channel, I'm thinking maybe we should build a Spotify playlist associated with our channel that I can continuously update with my selections of just what I think the great new music week by week, month by month is. But I wanted to hear your opinions on the creation of this Spotify playlist.
Out here doing the Dark Lord's work. I like it. And then also we can get our actual podcast on Spotify as well. I know that's a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So we could do branding and actually have people listen to us and all sorts of shit. Yeah.
So if you're down with it, I'll start creating a
well, that's a
it's not
mighty
just-
share. That's like the best share.
That's how I'm going to get a lot of music into people's ears. Instead of 15-second clips, I might do that too. Still,
Being the resident DJ, I feel like that's part of your obligation here. Well, not obligation, but like
Obligation.
That's what you bring a lot to the table.
You know what we brought you here to do.
Yeah. We want you to violate people's ears.
Oh, wow.
Oh, with pleasure. With pleasure. Oh, let me violate you. Yeah.
I got a quick question. I'm gonna take a quick break. I will be right back.
Oh, okay. That's fine. We'll just make
That's
like
a
a hand. Yeah, well, that was not a question. So what kind of handshake deal are we going to make while he's gone? Like, what are we going to decide on?
I don't know. I'm caught completely off guard by this, but we definitely got to fuck him over somehow.
I don't understand how he got like, did he get like a package at 8:39 at night? I think
I don't know what's going on there. It's like, is he taking 2 minutes for station identification here? Is he like an
homeboy he had to poop, but he just didn't want to say. Oh, I mean, he didn't go get a pop because his pop is there. He's still got at least like 0.75 liter. So he's doing good on that. Maybe he went to go get like some goldfish or some shit.
I don't know, like drinking that much Coke, maybe he didn't just need to make a run to the bathroom. I mean,
we got like
let's circle back to toilets and bathrooms.
We do because I'm here, but I got IBS. All right, I'd be shitting anyhow. So I'm trying to think of something we could agree on while he's gone, though, because we probably got like maybe 30 seconds before he comes back.
You think?
Yeah. Why don't we make a thing where like we pretend like somebody wins this episode at the end, and I'm automatically going to call it, and it's going to be you. We're just going to fuck him up. We're going to pretend like this was a contest the whole time, and he suffered like a great loss, but that he just didn't fucking, hey.
I'm back.
Hi.
I'm sorry about that, guys.
That was a weird time to have a visitor at like 8:40 at night.
That would have been really weird if someone just came in and sat down in my chair. Like,
God, I know what I'm doing on one of these.
no.
So I'm just thinking you had to go shake hands with yourself.
Well, at least I didn't do it on cam.
Oh,
More subscribers that way. It's not like
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
so I got my shares is that Molchat Doma is on tour, and they're coming here February 20th. And since they're TikTok popular, that's gonna like sell out really quick, I'm sure. And they do have other songs.
Last time they came through, they sold out.
And I hear all the goth people were like the indigenous goth folk were like, who the fuck are all these people? It's because of TikTok, right? It's not because that's the only reason it sold out. It was probably like 30% us and then like 70% like jocks or something. I don't know. Other people. I don't want to confuse normies. That's a slur, Raven. But yeah,
What? Since when is that? Come on.
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't make the rules here. I just can't.
That's like calling a white person a hard crusted thing that you would put cheese on and eat it as an appetizer.
Like a baguette,
Sure.
like a stone. I've never had anybody call me a stone. Anyhow,
A crumpet.
I've been called a crumpet at least twice.
Crumpet.
So fair, and I'm British enough.
We should bring that back. We should bring back calling people crumpets as a derogatory term.
We're going to now.
Bring back the crumpet.
We're going to. That'll be our dirty secret. That'll be our slang. So other than them being on tour,
who watch us.
Video Vision came out with another album. They snuck another album in. They dropped it like October 21st. You guys probably thought I was going to talk about health, and they did actually come out with a song with filters, so you should check that out too. But Video Vision or Vision Video, every fucking time. It's one or the other.
That reverse it.
Yeah, we'll audio splice it in. They came out with another album, and apparently it's pretty good. And people should
really good live.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He I'm sure commends an amazing great stage show. I'm not blushing. Anyway, so
the most angriest goth dad I've ever seen, just the pure fire in his rants between songs was just glorious to behold. I love righteous anger in music, and holy shit is it delivered in their shows.
He's pretty pissed because he's got a lot of reasons to be. I mean, we all do, but he's been in the forefront of the reasons to be. He's a veteran for one, so he's seen it, and yeah.
I mean, he'll tell you all about it.
I embrace that about him. So fucking rock on, Vision Video. I still have not seen them. I said it right that time, didn't I? Whoopee! I still have not seen them live, so I want to next time they come around. And they usually come to smalls too, and it's usually an all ages show. So if I can't get a babysitter, that don't matter no more. I just bring her. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna, I guess we can. I had this idea because we mentioned before how we would need an entire episode to go over all of the things about City Club that need to be gone over, and I feel like with the Halloween season upon us, did anybody see my Facebook feed today? I made a Facebook post about this. See, you knew that was foreshadowing. You should have known. You should have known this.
I thought it might have.
You really did
for content.
Yeah. I'm pretty predictable sometimes. You usually go to my Facebook feed to see what I'm going to do before I do it sometimes.
I'm just terminally online is my problem. And so eventually you're going to hit my feed too.
Chronically. So my idea here, because it's the Halloween month, and the Leland is the scariest fucking building in the entire city of Detroit. And we lived there. We were all born there, all three of us, on that dance floor. Peter Murphy was there in spirit, and Ian Curtis, and everybody else that's important. I say Peter Murphy like he's dead. He's not dead. Peter Murphy's not dead. He's just, Ian Curtis is.
Dead inside. He's a husk.
I was trying to think of people that died before like 1980 something, whenever you were
Jim
born.
Morrison.
Now I was born in 85, so yeah.
You want to hear the most goth thing I could possibly tell you about that place, though, in my opinion?
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Sure, I've got personal story to this, of course, too. But my kid is mid-20s goth themselves. Her mother actually went into labor at City Club.
Of fucking course.
Yep. My ex-wife, the mother of my child, started her initial labor. Like, water didn't break there, but who would have ever noticed?
It's still there.
Oh, no.
It's still there to this day, John. It's still there.
But yeah. My kid's turns 25 in a couple days.
She almost had you there.
The labor at City Club.
Oh gosh.
I don't know if I would have ever been in City Club pregnant. Just the exposure to the bits.
I was gonna say, if you sit on those couches, that you get pregnant. You get pregnant from those couches.
There's probably been a bunch of people that have gotten pregnant on those couches.
On those couches, sitting on those couches.
Back in the day, people used to. This is an elementary thing to bring up because everybody knows this about City Club. But if you knew the security guards, you could have sex with somebody gross in the corner by the stage.
Oh, like in the back in the big room?
Yes. I'm trying, like, the stage where it was back when it was by the windows. You look guilty, Raev, like you were one of those security guards. You're like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of this in my life."
Well, back into the late '90s, working there, like some of the people I worked with, we still joke around about it that we're threatening to write a book one day to tell all of everything we've seen.
Yeah. Yep. So I guess my favorite urban legend about City Club that came up multiple times on the Facebook, because City Club is a building. So for people that might be listening that aren't from Detroit and aren't from the area, the Leland is a Italian Renaissance architecture style building built by the Rupp architects in 1927, and it was fancy pantsy, 800 rooms, 800 baths. It had air conditioning, which is really rare for 1927. It was where the auto show was originally. It was also a place of seediness right from the start. Purple Gang, Rum Runners, all them. They were through there constantly. Hoffa, all that shit. When he disappeared, the Leland was the first place they checked. The first place.
Yeah.
And they never found him because he's still in it. Who's going to go in those sub basements? Come on now. He's down there. His briefcase is down there. Everything. He's down there. But there's been ever since it's been built. It's a beautiful, beautiful building, and it's been falling apart my entire life. It's to the point where it's almost just plaster now. It's last time I went there. Well, it looked like a burn victim. It was
the pool.
No, I'm not old enough to remember the pool, but I've heard stories about the pool and the parking structure.
I'm old.
Yeah, you're
My
old.
God, the parking structure was wild.
Yeah, I hear the parking structure was just an animal in itself. See, that's the kind of shit I came here for. But again, the favorite one that we'll get out of the way that everybody always brings up, and several people that we know were actually there for this, because City Club, the Leland started becoming deplorable in the 1980s into the 90s. It was a place of despair and just blight and grossness. It was definitely like a 1990s cyberpunk kind of a fucking movie. And then in the 2000s, it didn't get necessarily any better. They finally cleaned up like the crime and stuff when they changed it into apartments, probably about like what, 10, 15 years ago at this point. So it's not like it was as ghastly, but in the mid 90s or late 90s, there was a young man who was like 19 years old, and he was wasted off his tits, and City Club let him in anyway.
There's one we beat.
City Club let him in anyway. And back then, the ballroom did not have the wood over it. It was just open holes. Like in the walls, you would have holes and things like that. You could see like into, and it's walls like this on the inside where it's hollow. There's a guy that went in, that guy.
I puked into those.
You puked into, okay. So he went and he crawled all over your bar first. That's the only place I've never thrown up. So congratulations.
Between the wall. That's why it smells so funny.
To this day, it's part of it. It's there's fucking cum just holding the walls together, bro. That's why it smells funny.
It's just bodily fluids.
There's
a lot of bodily fluids.
Oh, so he goes in there and he gets this smart idea because it sounds fun. He parkours his way all the way up the walls, and the ballroom it's like not 3 stories. That's exaggerated, but it's at least 2. It's like 2.5. It's tall.
It's like 25 at least feet. Yeah, it's pretty high up there.
He gets to the ceiling, and instead of having a smart idea to come back down, he decides, I don't know, maybe in a panic or something, he's going to go across, like up above the ceiling. And it's a drop tile ceiling. And in the middle of the dance floor, where everybody's just this kid came falling through the ceiling. Donnie was there, Odoms, and my other friend Jen. There was quite a few people there. Like I said, it was several eyewitness testimonies. So this isn't like a urban legend kind of thing. This happened. His eyeball popped out, and he got half his tongue off. Somebody raced to the bar who was an EMT. They got ice in a cup, and they had him hold it onto his eye. And by my calculations, this guy is like 47-ish years old now. And I wonder at least once a year, like, where is he? What is he doing? And is he okay? Because he didn't die. He didn't die.
Are any of us from that era really okay?
No. It's wildest. Could you imagine just casual night at City Club, and then fucking this dude he didn't hit anybody on the way down.
Falling from the ceiling.
That's the amazing part. Because I can remember the days when you'd be asshole to elbow on that floor. You could barely walk through. Even like when I was working there.
God,
everyone knew I was security, and I could still squeeze my ass through. It was so packed, and people were trying to let me by at times. So it's like, how do you fall
I don't know.
into a hole and not hit anybody?
Or he just didn't severely injure anybody. I mean, I don't know. He could have whapped some, but nobody got hurt.
Maybe it was early in the night or late in the night. I wasn't there for it, so I can't say.
Do you guys have any other urban legends? Because that's the legend of Ceiling Kid, and that is the one that I probably hear go around the most. So I was like, let's cut the foreplay.
Ceiling Kid.
Because Ceiling Goth.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like some drunk guy that just like climbed up in between the walls, ended up in like the drop ceiling, and then just fell through. Okay, like
it was like
this was like on a normal Saturday night. Like, was it in the 90s?
Late 90s, I've heard. Yeah.
Okay, that's wild. Yeah,
I remember like in '98 being told that story. So
there you go.
It must have been right around then.
Probably because when you heard it, it probably happened like 2 weeks before that. You were there. You were just not paying attention.
I feel like if he was there, he probably would have known.
Honestly, when I first started going there, I was an extremely like introverted, shy person, and like I would get there and I would just sit down on a bench or sit down somewhere and just listen to the music all night long. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't interact with anybody. I was very anxious and insecure, and like I went on my 18th birthday with some friends and just literally just tucked myself into a corner and listened to music. That's just all I did. And it took me like 6 months to hold my first conversation there. So I'm sure there was a lot of things happened before I really came out of my shell. I was just there to listen to music.
And I didn't give the listener this history, but City Club opened in 1983 as Leader Knocked.
Leader Knocked.
Fuck off. I hate all of you.
No, you nailed it. You nailed the pronunciation.
It was 4 years of German, okay? That's why. And it just
you
I don't know. Anyway, now I'm like beat fucking red.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You know what? It's good for the content. It's good for the pod. It's good for the pod. And what's good for the pod is good for us.
It's good for all of us.
Yeah. You heard the story about the person that like threw themselves out of a window, but that never was corroborated, right?
Wait,
wasn't there like some story that like someone jumped out of a window or something like that?
Did you read that on my Facebook?
But I've never seen any evidence of it, and't heard anyone say they were there when it happened.
Bishop.
Yeah.
So he told me, and I got
it. I won't dispute anything Bishop says. I mean,
I have another, like I said, he said it, and then another bartender told me the same one. But I love how that whole last conversation got so derailed. I don't even remember what I was talking about, but I was going to wait for another. Yes, that's correct.
It was Leader Knock. Yeah. Leader Knock.
I'm fucking mad.
Whatever. Leader Knock just like makes you giggle. Like it's like a good, like I think.
I can hear Marcy back there. Like, oh, Jesus. So yeah, that opened in 1983, and that means it's like 41 years old. And so it's a really old fucking club. So that's why I'm saying, if nobody's been there before, if it's somebody that has no idea what we're talking about, this isn't like a club that's been around for like 10 years. It's very historied and had a name that did not sound as good as City Club when it first started. So I was going to wait for this, but yeah, there was a lot of jumpers in the 90s, allegedly. And Bishop and another bartender had told me at one point that there was a lady that had jumped in the mid 90s, like 95-ish. And she landed on the top part where the bar is. And that's why the bar has kind of like a sag in the roof there. And when it rains, it leaks there because that's where that lady landed, and it damaged the roof, I guess. And of course, they weren't going to fix it. And I never knew if it was true. But when you're standing there getting a drink and you feel a little drop of water, you think about it every fucking time. I'm not going to lie. Once you know the story.
And I'm so old, I remember when that bar, before it had the glass block.
Jesus. Do you remember like Studio, what was it? The one that connected Studio 54 or whatever, where they would connect the club down to the Labyrinth, which I'm sure you probably have 900 stories about. But yeah,
I used to have around for the Labyrinth days too.
Yeah, I actually went to Labyrinth before I went to City Club. When I was 18, I went to Labyrinth first. because I thought I was grown. I was like, I'm gonna go where the grown folk go. And I'm still not. So Labyrinth is creepy and
Like I used to go-
allegedly it's haunted. Didn't know if you knew that.
There's a
but
place called they used to be called Ascension UK that
yeah.
was in. I liked that place too.
I never went there, but when I was running my blind pig on 7 Mile out of my tattoo shop, everybody would compare it to Ascension UK because they were like, this is weird and raggedy. And you have coffee. They're like, this is basically Ascension UK. This is pretty sweet. And so that's why people start
Ascension was
showing up.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was so grassroots. It was yeah. Definitely DIY stuff going on there. But do you have any legends? Because I have a million. I'm just trying to give you a turn if you have anything. Because you've worked there, you've been going there a million years. Raven, you might have some shit too that you know about. It's secondhand.
Legends. I can say I've seen some horror shows in my working there with security in the 90s. I've seen some shit there. That's not legends. It was just I've seen some fucked up shit there. I mean, I've got a few regrets in my life related to that place that just not good stories to tell. Things that people don't need to hear, don't need to see.
Yeah,
That's where my mind goes.
I hear you. Especially back, like I said, during that time, that whole building was just had such a vibe to it. I mean, it still does. And
no, there's people who still love it to this day, and if it's what they need in their lives, I'm thrilled for them. I'm happy they have someplace to go. It ain't my jam, but I'm happy they have someplace to go.
City Club aside, because it's really also just more about the Leland itself in general, because it is such a creepy building. I admit I've never been on the 4th floor. I've always wanted to do that. I've never done it. I know the entire 4th floor is abandoned. Everybody always goes off about that and how you have to go to the other floor to get to it and then go back down. And then there's the legend allegedly, that's where Hoffa's hideout was and that's why it's abandoned.
As far as I know, it's abandoned because it was derelict and just run down.
Makes me wonder if it still is too, because they renovated the building fairly recently, or said they did. Said they did. I thought they did from the rooms or something.
I was there not that long ago, and the lobby looks like the worst than I've ever seen it in my life now. So
I went there about a year ago, and it looked like it was peeling off. Like the lobby was just peeling. It
looks like
it's the same.
Honestly, if you wanted to shoot like a good like horror movie, it would be a great place to shoot. Mm-hmm. You know, like you don't even really need to you just light it right. Mm-hmm. You could just shoot there. Like it would just be a good place to just shoot like an indie horror movie because of just like how it's naturally just kind of falling apart. I don't know if if you could plug in all the camera equipment, lighting, and everything like that, but like to be able to do like an indie movie like Blair Witch style, like in the actual place would be fantastic because it's like it's all just there, you know, like the paint's peeling, it's all kind of moldy and wet and just has this like kind of creepy old vibe, almost like the hotel from The Shining kind of vibe, you know.
I feel like every city has that hotel, and ours just happens to have the Goth Club in it, which is pretty special and unique.
Which is perfect
because in Chicago it would be the Congress.
I feel like we talk about that place so much. It's like there's so many other cool places in Detroit. It's like I feel like we need to get away from that fixation of that place. But it's been such a central location to our scene for so many decades. It's hard to.
And the building itself, it's hard to beat the ghost stories from there. Like the Labyrinth apparently being haunted because allegedly, there have been multiple sightings of shadowy figures peeking out from the ladies' bathroom all the time. Like even when people aren't there, and then somebody behind the bar as well. I know. They were just people that like they thought they cleared the building out at the end of the night and they didn't.
Yeah, those are just the goths.
And just the idea that the Labyrinth is underwater pretty much is also really weird and unsettling. That's why I'm just saying, like, regardless of your feelings of City Club as a club or currently, more talking about just the Leland's past because it is the scariest fucking building in the city. Kind of like
Yeah,
how
like I've heard a lot of stories over the years from it, but most of what sticks to my mind is the things I experienced there, and some of it's really fucking fun, some of it's really fucking not.
California's got Hotel Cecil, which is basically like our version of it. And then what New York's got, that famous fucking Hotel Chelsea or whatever.
Chelsea.
Mhm. Where Sid killed Nancy. So every city that has a creepy goth or punk scene has one, and that's where they all end up. Yeah, no. So like I was gonna say I was gonna go off about something about the labyrinth, and I totally got derailed on it. I was thinking about the ghosts in the basement.
Aside from the ghost and it being haunted.
Yeah. Oh, and then the roof. I've always wanted to go up to the roof too, but I know that gets you're not allowed.
I've been on them.
You're not allowed to go on the roof. Remember they used to have
Is
a
it a
sign.
good view at least?
They used to have a sign like where if you went on the roof, you were banned for life, but I don't know if that's even there anymore. Remember out on the dance floor, they used to have that sign by the door, like by the DJ booth or whatever.
Yeah, because you went through that door and it took you to a hallway that would take you over to the elevators, and from there you could get to a lot of interesting places.
So if you get on the elevators, so if I go in the normal doors, up the stairs, through the lobby and stuff, through the normal entrance, I can't go and just hit the elevator button and go up, right? Like
I don't think so.
Like you have to have like a key card or a key or something like that. How does that even work? Because I know people try to sneak up there.
Like when I was on pitcher duty and we would take them down to the restaurant, we would take the elevator down. And I don't remember ever using a key card or anything like that, but it's been so long that that's just lost a memory to me. But there's residents there that use it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm wondering, like, they just like the people who are at the front like lobby, because there's like a long kiosk, right, where you check in if you're. Is it even a hotel anymore? Could you stay there? Like,
no, it's not a hotel.
It's just apartments
now.
So now, like, but they don't seem
Yeah,
to
so
have
when you're
real
facing-
security or anything.
And when you're facing that counter in the lobby, there's a glass door on the right. You go through that glass door on the right, take maybe 30 steps, and turn right into a little hallway, and those are your elevators.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's always been a mystery beyond that like area. It's like the void, you know.
Where does it go?
I probably don't really want to know, to be fair. Let's be.
I've been past that point maybe once or twice.
I saw that building when there was a photography group that did some specialized photography stuff there.
Yep.
And I'm not a photographer, but I've been there as an assistant to a photographer, and we snuck off in all kinds of crevices of the building and all kinds of interesting pictures taken throughout. And so I saw more of the building that way than by working there. Because when I was at work, I was just there to do a fucking job.
Yeah, dealing with people shit and just maintaining. Yeah, for sure. I heard that. So it used to be the top floors were abandoned for a certain amount of time as well, for like 10 years. And I remember that when I first started going, it started shortly thereafter that, and then they ended up opening those back up and renovating. And I heard that they found, and this is you could chortle at this because this is complete. Just somebody told me because like their dad worked for the renovation company, but it could be true. They found a hand up there. There's a human hand on one of the floors. I want to believe that's real, but then I don't, because that means somebody lost a hand. But it is so bizarre that you're just like,
I feel like something like that would have made the fucking news even around here.
I know.
Hand found at Leland. The Leland hand.
The Leland hand. Just like somebody left a comment and said that on my post earlier about, the Leland saying that there was nuclear waste in the basement. I'm like, I feel like we would have felt that by now. But maybe
would have some rare kind of cancer.
We'll throw that into the compensation club funds with the mesothelioma and the asbestos. We'll just wrap that
all sorts of like, superpowers that you get from hanging out there.
We're all gonna have mesothelioma lymphoma.
Yeah.
Something. Pretty fucking much. The celeb stuff there too. There's some pretty juicy celeb stories that people have left. The one that I thought was the most funny was that one of the bouncers made Jonathan Davis wait in the stairwell because he didn't have his ID on him. like from corn.
I've been there for
Corn,
some.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
I've been
that's
there for some
trolling.
musicians.
That's trolling at that point. I responded. I was like, I would have been like half baked and made him do some outlandish shit. Then like, let me get like boom jop to boom jop to jop boom and we'll let you in.
Give me a go. Can
Yeah.
you give me a go?
There's somebody said the same thing
That's
about
been a lot
Marilyn
of
Manson
stories over
too.
the years.
I know. And somebody said the same thing about Marilyn Manson too. And I never heard that one. But what I did hear about him is that he's banned for life because he went through there and he passed out a bunch of drugs back in the late 90s. Again, I've heard it from several people, but the Leland is a place of mystery and
I remember
perception.
people. I've heard it from reliable sources. He was thrown out.
Yeah, that he was banned and thrown out. So maybe
But what for? We don't know.
Apparently,
Probably from being from Ohio is what it is. That's probably it.
Yeah, he went in there with an Ohio State jersey, and they were like, "This guy is the fuck out." So
Doesn't
get
take
your
much.
Buckeyes ass
Yeah.
back to wherever the fuck, back to your cornfield.
I mean, he like, especially in the 90s, he was well known for, making a scene, because being controversial is what, what his brand was. So, doing something out of pocket would totally be on brand for him. I mean, he's being canceled like left and right.
Oh, now, yeah.
Ever since then, ever since he got popular.
Well, yeah, I mean, the things that have come out in the recent years, yeah, he deserves it, definitely. But even back then, before all that was super known, he was still pushing the envelope all the fucking time. So it makes sense. Well,
yeah, I've been to some musicians, and I've been there, and I've heard stories for others, and the actual experiences I had aren't very titillating. It's just, oh look, that's so and so. The end.
How crazy was the parking garage though? Because every time I bring it up, people act like it was fucking like it was like it was a penitentiary of fucking craziness or something. Like people just up there partying, throwing shit into the pool.
Well, there's a parking structure that was across the street, and that's where I would always park.
Okay.
And yeah, so it was common for there to be some pre-parties there, except for there was no parking lot security and no visibility anywhere. So it would get pretty rowdy and pretty wild there sometimes. I spent a summer and some change working the parking lot when I worked there, and like the parking lot parties shifted from that parking structure just to the parking lot. I had like this little fucking neon that I would borrow to go to work and sit in the parking lot. And sometimes there'd be almost, 50, 70 people hanging out around my car. Like this guy would, this guy John would show up sometimes. He'd pop his trunk and he'd have milk crates full of, with booze bottles. And there are people who would come and just party in the parking lots and would never even go inside.
That's wild. I feel like I missed all that.
I had a gun pulled on me a few times out there in those days. Learned how to talk my way out of some shit really quick. Near the end of one, a lot party's finishing to get near the end of the night. This car goes rolling by, and I'm still working, so I'm watching it. Young fella gets out of the car and reaches into the back seat, comes out with a rifle.
A whole rifle.
Like,
man. It looked like he had an SKS with him. And he's asking, like, why the fuck you staring at me? I was like, dude, I fucking work here and you're pulling in. Like, I'm sitting with this flashlight and, just, it's my job. I'm here until, 4:00 and I make sure no one fucks with these cars, and that's why I'm looking at you. Like, dude just stares at me for a few minutes. He's like, all right. Just puts it back into the back seat, closes and walks away. He's like, so my car's going to be safe sitting here. He's like, it is until 4:00, then I'm going the fuck home. He's like, all right.
Fine. My dude, you brought your own protection. Like, you don't need my security ass. Yeah. Like, for real. Like, I don't mess with that guy.
You didn't even need to defend the car. The gun would just defend the car for him. Like, shit. Like,
we never mentioned the pole.
What?
The yellow parking pole on the way in and out of the parking. There's that one pole that just it's not this anymore. It's this now. But it's the pole that people
I don't think it was always there.
Yeah. It's that pole that people hit all the time. They'll put cones on it and shit like that. But it's like I was there one night and I was just hanging out and I hear chunk and I look around and there's a car and everyone goes, oh, and it's just like someone's just racked up on the pole with their cars just kind of like going up it. It's just like one of those big concrete ones that
I know what you're talking about.
It's been hit so many times. It's like a legendary thing. That's
legendary.
I don't know if that was originally there or they put that in after the parking structure got eliminated and it's just like the flat parking.
I don't remember it always being there, but I can't tell you when it showed up either.
It just showed up one day and it's been the bane of unattentive people. That's like honestly, that should be the showing if you are okay to drive back home. If you are not able to make it around that pole, you should probably sit in your car for a little bit longer and sober up.
I made it around the pole every time, but one time I did hit the lodge after the pole. So I failed the pole test, but then hit the lodge. So the whole lodge, the entire side of my car went. Anyway, long time ago, as years past, I'm a different human being. Yeah, this was definitely a very, very wholesome visit down City Club. Well, the Leland Lane, because like I said, it's more about the Leland and the fact that it is a very historical Detroit building. It's on the National Historic Places Register in 2005, and it was creepy even before City Club or Leader Knocked. There we go again with that. So, are there any other stories? Because I could go off on more, but I don't need to technically. But is there anything else that you guys wanted to add? You're like
I'm going to save any stories to protect the innocent and sometimes the guilty. I'm going to say I don't know nothing.
I thank you for that because
someone's pleading the fifth or the partial fifth, maybe like the 2/5.
Yeah, that was
5. I don't know nothing.
The 2/5 is basically just 3 Long Islands there.
Definitely at City Club.
Back when Marvin used to pour them.
Remember little Huggy that used to wander around there?
Yeah.
Ron's brother.
Yeah.
Some of the most fun working there sometimes when Huggy would have his shots, and at come the end of the night, if he really liked you, he'd just pour them all into one container and hand them to you.
Oh, nice.
And that's how you erase the next day.
Yeah, probably. Like, damn. Next couple of weeks.
Oh, God. You want to talk about ghosts, though? The ghost of my fucking liver is there.
Yeah. The ghost of my fucking dignity is out on that dance floor. And it had barfed everywhere and probably peed a little too. And then when
there's a lot of men and women's dignity on that dance floor. I saw a lot of it.
Some of it's in the form of ejaculate. Well,
yeah, I can tell stories about the people who like to go behind the speakers and up on stage and just the regular rounds to break up the people fucking, unless it was someone you knew. And then you got it. There's like, oh, wait, and turn around and go the other way.
You're corroborating the story I told earlier. That whole stage.
Carry around a spray bottle. Hey, you two! I told you to stop it.
The stage is.
I went and broke up this one couple back. You know, when you're facing the dance floor at the entrance of the dance floor, there was a speaker to the left. So back behind the speaker, it's like I knew there was always going to be someone back there. So I go back there. There's a man and woman back there. She's straddling. I get back there. I kick my light on, my mag light on. And their response was to stand up. She takes a step over to me, grabs my crotch, and tells me I can join if I want. And I'm just like, I've never met him or her before in my life.
What episode of Taxi Cab Confessions did this just turn into? And you're like, and then I unzipped my pants.
I thought both. I was grossed out by that shit. I can know.
That was in the
catch
AIDS. Yeah, I was gonna say it was mid-90s, so everything just had AIDS everywhere. So yeah, HIV.
It's like
I know.
It's like we've never met. Why are you propositioning me like that? Like I was like 19 at the time and skeeved out. Do you know how bad it is? Because I skeeved out a 19-year-old goth boy. Jesus
A
Christ.
horny teenager.
You're like,
come
no.
on.
No, thank you, ma'am. You're like, I'm sorry I bothered you.
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
Are you saying that the stage at City Club is responsible for like 45% of the unwanted goth pregnancies in the Detroit metro area?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay.
Thank God.
That's a bold claim, and that probably checks out.
It might.
Anyone who worked there in the day that will confirm that stage and back behind speakers, back by those windows, every night someone was there. Every night.
You can tell my kid was not conceived there because she does not have any real like birth defects or anything like that. So
from the toxic waste
yes,
or
exactly.
mess up the asbestos in the ceiling tiles. Or...
She didn't come out all Goonies looking, so we're good.
Hey,
Yeah.
you guys.
Could you play Chrome again?
Jesus. Jesus. I'm gonna work on a Spotify over the next couple weeks.
All right, and I'm gonna work on getting my ADHD meds filled again, so I'm not so unhinged. And other than that,
No, it's good content. Stay off the meds.
It is. Stay off. Yeah, pretty much. Just when I need to concentrate times, other than that, just whatever, let go and let God, I guess, right? This has been another episode of It's Not a Phase. It's obviously not. And we've got saying goodbye to DJ Raev and all of his spectacular wisdom and amazing vault of knowledge he shared with us tonight. I pulled out exactly what I wanted to, so thank you so much for being here. And then Raven for being that goth guy about town who also has a lot of fucking funny stories and cool commentary. And then me, the ringleader of all this stupid nonsense that we had tonight, just Jess. And we will see you hopefully again next week. Keep it creepy. Until then, bye.